All right, so it's been a few weeks since we tackled the passenger side. Yeah, it's time to start doing the other side, the driver's side, and really it's just going to be exactly the same process, but just reverse. So let's get into it. All right, so after giving that a good degrease and a gurney, I just wanted to run over quickly some things that I found out about the chassis. I know when I took it out, I briefly spoke about it, and then did a bit of a pan over with the camera. But yeah, had a lot of dirt on it. So what's been revealed as what I was expecting anyway is it's got a lot of surface rust, and a lot of that powder coating that I thought was on there has actually been taken back. So there is a little bit of rust damage on it, but it's nothing major at all. The worst parts are here and the body mounts, just behind the wheel there. So you can see here, it's actually pitted quite badly and has thinned out the metal. And this one's probably the worst. Can't see it that well. If I can just focus on there, you can see that it's almost sharp. So it's gone from, I don't know what thickness that is. You can see here, that thickness there, it's probably, looks like it's like 3 mil or something like that. And if you compare that to that, that's quite eaten away. So that, as far as I'm concerned, is not structurally safe at all. So that's going to have to be fixed. And I've been sort of racking my brain as to how to fix that, and I've sort of come up with a potential method. And what I'll do is I'll either measure this up in Illustrator and put that into my program in Illustrator, and then create a CAD DWG file and send that to a metal cutters and get them to just basically create a huge washer in 3 mil steel. And then I'll cut that out with one of those circular metal cutters that I got. I'll buy one around about that size, cut it out and then weld it back in. And that way it's going to be more accurate of this hole. The other way would be to get 2 metal cutters, one for the internal, one for the external, and then cut the external out first and then cut the internal out, and then that way I know it's going to fit. So either or, I reckon that's probably not going to be that hard to fix. And other than that, the transmission cross members in really good condition. The fuel tank's in really good condition, other than the surface rust and a bit of wear and tear as far as just mortar marks and dirt and stuff like that. The hydraulic, I think the diff or the brake hydraulic lines are in good condition. What else? The leaf springs, I'm going to get them reset. I know I did speak about bagging it and all that kind of thing, but after the feedback on the video, I don't think it's worth it. It's going to be expensive, and I'd be better putting that money towards the mechanical side of things. So I'm just going to reset that spring 4 inches or something and get a lowering block as well, and then that should set it down quite nicely under the guards without being illegal. I think the illegal requirement is that it's 100 mil clearance from the body to the ground. So as long as you don't go below that, you should be fine. The diff, I can't remember what diff this is. People watching this, I'll just show you the code there. If anyone knows what this is, please let me know. It's running a quite high ratio. So on the highway, it used to scream its tits off. So I think I'll probably need to change it to a 308 ratio just to give it a bit more cruising power, cruising ability on the highway. The rear crash mount here, I'm assuming for stability and things like that, that's in really good condition. All along the back here is in great nick. I'm going to wire wheel this in a future episode, and then I'm going to get a solution called a KBS enamel. And what it is, it's a really hardy enamel surface paint. I've noticed a lot of shops use it. So yeah, you could use that or POR 15. It's a very similar product. But the KBS comes up with an etching solution and a cleaning solution. So you etch it with this solution first, and it's like an etch primer. It eats into the metal and preps it, and then you give it a clean, and then you basically just paint the KBS straight on. You can either brush it with the air gun, or you can actually paint it on. It's sort of self-leveling as well. So, for something like the chassis, you don't particularly need a, mirror finish. So, yeah, you can probably paint it on. It'll allow you to get into all the nooks and crannies. So, that's the solution I'll be doing, and that will secure it into the future. And so, yeah, I'm happy that I actually have a solution with that, because that was starting to eat away at me. And also I spoke to a few guys about getting inside here, obviously, because I'm not going to hot dip this chassis. It's too expensive and I can't be bothered going through all that effort. You can get sprinkler fittings that you put around your garden in a drip system, and you can get a little atomizer 360 tip, and then you can connect that to your hose and then feed it down the length of the rails and spray it. And what it does is it'll spray a 360 degree fine mist of this KBS coating, and it'll coat all inside of your chassis rails as well. You can clean them best as you can. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get a lot of the surface rust if there's any inside, but all you can do is try and trap it in there and make sure that it can't breathe, and hopefully it'll fight it off into the future. So anyway, that's an update on the chassis, and now we'll move on to the chamber. So like the other side, I've just repaired this structure underneath. As I was grinding it off for spot welds, it was a bit thin in certain spots, which I wasn't happy about. So I just cut a section out here, here and here, and welded it in. The rest I'm going to leave. I think it's strong enough it's got enough metal on there to support the upper layer. And once I attach that and weld that in, it's going to be strong enough anyway. So next I'll get into the first of the three patches, which will be this one here. Okay, so I've gone about the usual process of cutting these bad bits of metal into patches. It's the method that I reckon for me works the best, and I'm slowly refining my technique each time to get it better. So you can see here, based on the patch that I cut out of there, I've formulated a little template from cardboard, and I'm referencing some photos that I took before I cut it up, so I can know exactly how far this little lip is here from this lip, how far this underlapped this section here, the curves that this sort of followed, how far this lip went out, and the angles that it was on when it was welded in, and how this section comes in and overlaps here as well. So based on my photos, this goes straight down to this corner and then goes behind this metal here. Obviously I've cut it short because that's where I cut it with the blade. So that patch tells me that it's not enough metal, so I'm going to have to add a little strip along here just so I can tuck under it there nicely, and then I can spot weld it. Then I can get onto this patch here. So when they put these two panels together, obviously this was the Plenum chamber. So this would have sat over this section here, so hence why it's sort of overlapping, and it's very hard to see. Based on the other one that you saw, it's it's sort of basically melted together with rust, so it's very hard to see where they actually overlap. So you could probably just do one piece, but I want to keep the two pieces to keep it exactly the same as what it was before, and that way we're going to minimise any different height overlaps or inconsistency is when I put the cowl panel on the top, because at the moment that's my biggest fear, is that it's not going to fit. So anyway, I'm going to keep refining this patch and then slowly but surely get it to metal stage. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that patch. Straight off the bat, it took me about 2 or 3 bends with the vise and the pliers, and I've managed to get the shape pretty much 90% there without dinting and smashing the metal like I did last time. So yeah, my techniques are definitely getting better. I've still got to refine that little edge there a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to keep forming this, and then I can start to play around with adding this section on. So I've got a little lip that goes over that bit, but yeah, I think it's all going to work pretty smoothly. One thing I didn't mention before is when I took this bit out, so this was the template that I used to get this one, and I ground the hell out of it. And these spot welds, I just could not see them, could not find them with the spot weld drill. So I ended up just doing a real bodgy grind job just to grind them out. And so therefore I lost my pattern, my piece. So what I did is I just tacked on a little triangle bit I placed the 2 bits on, and from where they pretty much like 95% were in position when they were, before they were cut, tacked it together on the bottom and the middle. And that way that allowed me to then trace the pattern around on the cardboard, which you saw before, and then the cardboard straight onto the metal. And yeah, this method for me gets the most accurate results for amateur. I'm sure the professional guys out there do it vastly different ways, but this is the way that's working for me. And as you can see, I'm getting cleaner and cleaner each time. So this sheet metal's hardly got any hammer marks on it at all. It's all been folded. So yeah, happy with that. I'm going to push forward. All right, that's on. Pretty happy with it. It's much better than the other one. As I said, each time you do one of these patches, your mind is figuring it out in the background, and so each time it's a little bit neater. And this one, yeah, is probably, I reckon, 30-40% neater than the other one. Just the way I bent this in, and it's lined up, and the gap is pretty much the same as the reference photos. Yeah, this is sort of blended in nicely. Although there's a little overlap here, it'll give me a little bit of yeah, meat to put the next one on. So that's enough for there. I'll run some zinc over that, and that'll prime it. And now I'm going to start fashioning up the next patch and see if we can finish this off. All right, so that's my cardboard template. I'm putting in replacement of this section. Pretty happy with that. It's yeah, it's pretty close. Just push that down there. That curve's a bit sharp, but for this section here, but I'll hammer it out a little bit. And I've come a bit short here, so I'll just tape that up there. I think that's pretty much all I need to do, and then I can sort of just trim from there. and I'll spot weld these sections down here, and then I'm done on the cowl panel, and then I have to go out and buy this top section and see if it fits. So yeah, now I'll cut it out of the metal and start hammering it out. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. It's much better than the other one. Probably because I had more to play with and more reference. This section here and here have just worked really well, and this blend here, you can almost not tell. I mean, I haven't put any primer or seam seal or anything on that at the moment, and that's sitting really well. So I'm really happy with that. It's following the curve nicely. And then it's nice and flat against that other panel. I've plug welded along there, and yeah, filled in those gaps. I haven't welded a bead across this line here because I don't think it's necessary. There's enough strength already, and they were originally spot welded there anyway. This ridge although it's not identical to that. It'll be enough to rest the cowl panel on, but no, happy with the curve, happy with the quality of the metal. It's not so dinted and banged up. It's reasonably flush and straight on some of those flat spots. Yeah, and it's all held together nicely. That gap in my reference photo is pretty much spot on. The angle between the relationship between these two is it's pretty much accurate. This is sort of like 90 degrees, and this is coming down more of an angle. So I'm happy that that whole section's done, and I'm happy that the whole plenum chamber is now done as far as rust repairs. So now, as I mentioned before, it's just a matter of getting this top cowl section now and applying that and plug welding that on. But until I do that, I have to do a lot of treatment on all this section here. So it's a matter of rubbing it back, as I said, and enamel, putting that KBS enamel on it, seam sealing all the gaps here, seam sealing all the welds, just checking that everything's covered because I don't want any leaks coming through on this chamber once it's done. So that's it for this section here, and now I'll just prime it, and I'm done. All right, so that's it for this episode. Now, finished the plenum chamber, all the rust on the plenum chamber at least. So as I said before, I'm going to move on to coating it with the KBS, obviously stripping and treating it before I do that. I might tidy up the other side a little bit just to make sure that that cowl panel is going to rest on the top of the treated metal nice and smoothly. And now I'm going to order the actual cowl panel from Rare Spares, which I'll do in the next week, and I'll probably order the door skins and a few other things that need to be done, like the floor pan, and maybe the rear tray wall there. As you can see, that's dinted, so I know you can get a panel from that from Rare Spares as well. So next episode I may also treat the firewall. I'll probably strip that down and start to think about covering that, and also maybe stripping the underneath of the ute. So there's a fair bit to do, but yeah, all will be covered in the next episode. So as per usual, If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up and I'll see you next time.